This
the
conference
other
will
day.
now be recorded.
So it's been, I think, 2 to 3 days that we have been away. So most of the people would have forgot what we have discussed. Just give me one moment, guys. One moment. Intama. పంపించేసేమ్మా. Hang on, guys. One second.
Hi everyone, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Syed. Good evening, Chandana. Okay, sorry. So, yeah. So in the last class, which is day 21, what we have discussed is we were discussing about the functional requirement. Okay, so how will a functional requirement looks like. Okay, so we were actually going through one document. Okay, 1 second. Let me pull out that document. Okay, proxy, is that what it is? There was one file. Is this pic? No, not this pic. There was one pick, whether I've saved it or forgot to save. You remember that login functionality pick was there, right? So maybe it is there in my class notes. So let me pull out the class notes. Okay. Day 21. This one should be the class notes. Okay. Yeah, this is the one, right? Wonderful. Okay, so let's say we are doing the testing for this particular functionality, which is the login functionality, which has the username, password, connect to field, and there are few buttons. One is login button, clear button, forgot, and cancel button. Okay, so we have seen how to what are the functional requirements will look like for something like this. Okay, so let's quickly go through those functional requirements. Okay, so login functionality. How many spelling mistakes I do in a day? Okay, functionality. Okay, so wonderful. So for the login functionality, you see this is how requirements will look like for something like this. Okay, a login screen should contain a username field, a password field, a connect to field, which is a drop down list, and then there are 4 buttons: login button, clear button, forgot button, and cancel button. Okay, connect to field is not mandatory, which means that you cannot give the value, that is still fine. Okay, and username and password fields are mandatory. Okay, and only once the valid username and password is given and click on the login button, it will take you to the home page. Okay, once the valid username, password, and whatever the database you wanted to connect, you click on that. Let's say pharmacy is there, you click on that pharmacy and click on login button, it goes to the pharmacy page. Okay, and then and then when you clear it, whatever you have entered, it will be clear. And when you click on the forgot password, it will take you to the next screen, which will help you with the password for password recovery. And when you click on the cancel, it will go back to the home page, or it will travel back to whatever the page. Okay, the login page is closed once you click on this. So these are all the functional requirements which we have seen for this page, which we have looked into the last class in detail. And then we started developing the use case document. By the way, who develops this use case document, guys? Who develops these use cases for those requirements or for a particular functionality? Who develops the use cases? You can use the chat window and let me know. Anybody can answer this. Who develops the use case document? In the last class, we behaved as whom? We have behaved as a tester, or what were our role when we are creating this particular functional requirements in the last class?
Business analyst.
Business analyst. So we were wearing the hat of a business analyst, and then we were doing this. So definitely the use case is also created by the business analyst itself. So let's see what kind of use case the business analyst will develop for this kind of functionality, which is the login functionality. Okay, a use case will have a use case name. here we can give it as a login use case, or you are the business analyst, you can decide what kind of name you wanted to give it, and a brief description. Whoever is looking at this use case, they should understand what this use case is for. You see, this use case description describes all the features. Describes, okay, describes, okay, describes all the features of the login page or the login screen. Okay, so this is the description of the use case. And who are the actors involved? One is the normal user who will enter the username, password, and click on the login button, and one is the privileged users or the admin users. In IT industry, these privileged users are called the admin users, where that user will enter the username, password, and then let's say he says click on connect to the pharmacy, and then click on login button, he will be shown the pharmacy related stuff. Okay, and and then all the requirements are already given here, so you need not have to again write the requirements in the use case document. But what we will write is the special requirements. So what kind of special requirements? Are there any kinds of special requirements, guys? Are there any kinds of special requirements?
Explicit and implicit.
Implicit.
Implicit
Wonderful.
and implicit.
Wonderful. Okay, there are two kinds of requirements. One is explicit requirements, one is implicit. Implicit means it is understood, they need not have to tell you what it is. They means the client need not have to explicitly tell you that okay, this needs to be taken care of. Any person who have little bit of knowledge, they know that okay, even though the client has not given it, I'll take care of this. So those are implicit requirements. Again, this is created by the business analyst itself based on this knowledge. Nobody needs to tell him, or the client need not have to tell him. And the explicit is definitely the client explicitly will be telling okay what needs to be done. Okay, you see, the explicit requirements, other than the requirements are given, so there are some explicit requirements, okay, which means that these are the special requirements given by the client clearly as are known as the explicit requirements. Okay, okay, so they are given. Okay, the sentence doesn't make too much sense, but anyways, you know what they want to give more clarity on the requirements. That's why the client will give the special requirements. Since client is giving it, we can call it as a explicit requirements. And let's see what kind of explicit requirements have given by the client for this functionality. You see, so as soon as the login screen is on opened, the login and clear buttons must be disabled. This is understood, right? Okay, as soon as you open this particular field, both these should be disabled because nothing has been entered here. Okay, the cancel button and forgot button should always be enabled, because at any point of time the person thinks that okay, I forgot the password, click on it, and at any point of time the client thinks that okay, I came to this login functionality, I don't want it, then they can cancel it. So these two should be enabled all the time. Okay, but by default this should be disabled, these two buttons. And one thing is, okay, some information is entered over here or over here, then automatically the clear button should be enabled, because at any point of time the client thinks that I wanted to clear it. Okay, and once you have entered some information in both the fields, then only the login button should be enabled. So these are explicit requirements given by the client. And the tabbing order should be, it should be going here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then here, and here. So that's how the tabbing order should be. So this is what the explicit requirements clearly given by the client. And some implicit requirements which the client has not given, but the BA with his knowledge, he thinks that okay, this will add more value addition, this will create more value addition to the application, let me add these requirements. What is the requirements he has given? Okay, initial cursor must be in the username field as soon as the page opens. So as soon as the page opens, the cursor should be over here. Okay, this is the implicit. Again, I'm going little fast because all this has been discussed in detail in the last class. So this is only I'm repeating it so that it will clear your mind. Okay, so and if username password something is wrong, then appropriate error message should be displayed. Username is wrong, or password is wrong, or both of them wrong, then the appropriate message should be displayed. So these are the implicit requirements. Okay, so this is what we have discussed so far, guys. So in a use case document, let's look at the first one is the use case name, second one is the description, third one is the actors involved, fourth one is the special requirements, and then you have 4.1 which is explicit requirements, 4.2 implicit requirements. Now we are not done with the use case, there is 5 as well. Okay, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are looking at the fifth one. Okay, what is the fifth one, guys? What is the fifth one? Let's go in detail. Okay, fifth one is the precondition. Okay, Okay, precondition for this login functionality. What is the precondition? Okay, login screen must be available. Okay, so it's understood only then. Okay, then there is a point of doing the testing or writing some test cases and all that. Okay, post condition. What is the post condition? Okay, what is the post condition? Or what is the post condition? Okay, post condition means once you have gone through the entire, once you have entered the username password and click on the login button, what will happen or what should happen? That is the post condition. Okay, precondition means to test it or to do something on this. The precondition is the login page should be available. Post condition is once you have done everything on this particular page, what will happen or what should happen? Okay, a normal user, once he enters the username and password, click on the login button, the home page should be displayed. Okay, okay, for a normal user, okay, home page must be displayed. Okay, and for admin user or privileged user, for admin user, in other words, in our language it is privilege user. Okay, for privilege. Okay, I don't know the spelling, guys. Okay, please ignore it if the spelling is incorrect. Okay, for the admin or privilege user, okay, admin page or the pharmacy page or whatever must be displayed, okay, must be displayed. That is the post condition. Okay, are you okay with this precondition and post condition, guys? I'm not explaining it because it's understood and there is nothing much to explain over there, so I'm going little fast over there. Okay, if you need further information, let me know. Precondition means before you start doing any of this or working on these requirements, what should be there? The login page should be there. And post condition is once you are done with this page, what should happen? If then for the normal user, home page will be displayed. For the admin user, the pharmacy page or admin page should be displayed. Okay, that is the post condition. Okay, and now flow of events. Okay, flow of events. How should be the flow of events? Okay, so action and then response. Okay, first action. Okay, actor invokes the application. Yesterday we have discussed what is an invoking means. What is an invoking means, guys? What do I mean when I said invoke? I want to hear from
Remove,
all of you guys. Sorry,
remove.
remove. Syed says remove. Anybody else have to say anything about it? We've already discussed what is an invoke. Generally, a lot of people use it in IT industry. Invoke. We have discussed in the last class. Okay, open or start. Okay, so actor invokes the application means opens that application or opens this particular page. Okay, so what should happen? Okay, the response should be, this is start. Okay, so what should happen, guys? When an actor could be an admin user or a normal user, when he invokes or opens the application, what should happen?
It will display the login page.
Wonderful. Okay, the login page will be displayed with all these fields. I don't wanted to write all these fields again. Username field, password field, connect to field, login button, clear button, forgot button, and cancel button. With all those features, the application or the application will open and then the login page will be displayed. Wonderful. Okay, now the actor means, who is the actor here, guys? Actor means Shah Rukh Khan and then Salman Khan. Is that what we are talking about? Actor means who?
User.
Valid user.
Wonderful. Yeah, normal user or admin user. That's what I'm saying. Okay, valid username and valid password. Okay, and click on login button. Okay, so what will the actor will do? Actor means a normal user or a admin user. Okay, what does he do? Once the page opens, he will enter the valid username, he will enter the valid password and click on the login button. Okay, once that happens, what will happen? Okay, so once that happens, we are entering the valid username, valid password. What should happen?
It will navigate into the home page, the next page.
Okay, Either you can say home page is displayed. Okay, authentication happens, okay, because it's a proper username and value, proper password. The authentication will be successful and home page is displayed. Home page is displayed. Okay, now the actor. Okay, by the way, this actor is the normal user. Here when I said the actor, I'm referring to normal user because we are entering only the username and password. We are not actually entering any value for connect to. Only the privileged users or the admin users will have access to this connect to, where they will select whatever they want. Okay, now the actor, okay, the actor enters okay, valid username and password, and valid password, that's what I meant. Okay, password. Okay, select pharmacy option in connect to field. Okay, and then enters login button. Okay, so now what will happen, guys? What should happen? This is for not normal user, this is for the privileged users or the admin user. Okay, now what should happen, guys? Now what should happen?
It will navigate into the some other homepage, like a pharmacy related homepage.
Yeah, so the admin page, let's call that page as an admin page. So the admin page will be displayed, or the pharmacy page will be displayed. Okay, admin page or pharmacy page is displayed. Okay, this particular thing is only for the privileged user, because only the privileged users or the admin users can actually have the option to this particular database or to this particular page. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, now watch carefully. Actor enters, okay, invalid username. Okay, invalid username and valid password. Okay, valid password. Okay, and enters login button. Now what should happen, guys? What should happen? I want everybody to answer, not one person, guys, please. I want everybody to answer. Okay, what will
It will
happen?
It will show error message.
display the error message.
Invalid
Acknowledgement.
username. Please check the username also.
Wonderful. Okay, please check your credentials. So that's what is the response. Wonderful. Okay, now actor enters. Okay, actor enters valid password. Okay, sorry, valid username. Okay, and invalid password. Okay, and click on enter. Okay, click on enter. What should happen? What should happen? Okay, what should happen here? Valid username, invalid password. What should happen?
Again, it will show
Password is
error message.
valid. Password is indirect.
Okay, so again displays the error message. Okay, so one question I have here, guys. Okay, so in this case the first case where they have entered the invalid username. Okay, where they have entered the invalid username. Okay,
Sorry, mommy.
where okay, so where they have entered the invalid username and valid password, the error message should say that you have entered the invalid username but you have entered the right password, please fix the username. Should they give that kind of information? What do you think? I'm just asking you.
Sir, I'm
Can
sorry.
some
Can you please
yeah,
repeat your question, sir? I'm
so
sorry.
in this particular action, you see where the actor has entered invalid username and valid password, we are displaying the error message. That error message, okay, should we display the error message saying that, oh, you have entered the valid password, but the username is invalid. Please enter the valid username. That kind of error message you should display. Option one, or option two, it should display the generic error message that please check your credentials, and then whatever, looks like you have entered the invalid credentials, please check your credentials. So you should leave a generic error message like that, which is option two, or specific error message that you have entered the invalid username and valid password. Which one you should? Option one is we should be very specific in sending the error message saying that we have sent out an invalid username. Option two is generic error message saying that please check your credentials. Which one you think is good? One or two?
I believe it will not display specific, sir.
Okay, it should not or it should, because the application we are developing. Now we are the ones who needs to decide. Should we
Yes, sir.
send out the specific
Should.
saying that, oh, your username is valid or invalid, please fix it, or we should say generic saying that check your user credentials, they seems to be wrong. Which one you feel?
Generic.
Sir, it's specific because it will be user friendly, sir.
Okay, Sayed says we have to send a specific saying that the username is invalid. Okay, so that becomes more user friendly. So that's what Sayed says. What about others? Do you agree with him? One is yes, two is no. I want everybody to answer, all the 23. Okay, Azil, I know it says, but again, what you think should display? I'm just asking you. What happens generically in the world? I'm not asking. What you are developing this application. Let's say you are the BA. You are coming out with this
The
document, which is the use case
the,
document. What you will display? Aruna says
the, pass,
she doesn't agree. Kotesh, okay,
the,
sorry. Somebody
the
says yeah.
password should not be common. Like, it will give sometimes it should not be common.
That is for registering, Radhika. But what I am saying is this is for login. Okay, so login, if you have entered the invalid username and you're entering the valid password, it should say that it should display the error message. What I am asking is, should it be specific error message saying that the user password is correct but username is wrong, or it should be the generic one saying that okay, check your user credentials?
A generic one, because of the password is a hidden property, so
Yeah.
Check
it's a
your
not
user
a,
credentials.
because of some user are process to hack. So I think
Uh,
it's a
Abhishek,
wrong.
that's you're getting it right. What Mr. Abhishek is saying is, let's say somebody else who are just hacking your system, just trying different usernames and passwords, okay, so that they can hack the system. Now you are giving them the clue that oh, you've got the password right, but the username is wrong. So this way he can come back later and play around only with the usernames. Don't you think so? If you are giving very specific, making it more user friendly in here becomes dangerous, because somebody who is not who wants to crack your username passwords, you are giving more information to him saying that oh, password is correct but username is wrong, go ahead and play around with the username and crack it. Okay, you don't want it to give that kind of information, so you have to give a generic information saying that the user credentials are incorrect, please go ahead and fix it. Okay, you understand what I'm saying, guys? Whatever I'm saying makes sense to you?
Yes, sir, but
Yes, sir. It
only
makes
with
sense.
Yeah, please go ahead, Syed.
sir, only it happens with password. Like everyone knows email ID, for example. It will only display that you have entered the incorrect password, but for username it displays generic message.
But generally, most of the applications, Syed, it will just say that user. It will not give specifically the username password is incorrect. It will say that it will give a generic thing saying that the username and password, the user credentials are incorrect. Let's see what our Gmail says. Okay, Syed, let's see what our Gmail says. Okay, gmail.com. Okay. Oh, it is not even showing both the username and password. First, it will check the username, then will goes to the password. Let me see what the Facebook will do. Okay. Yeah. Let's say this is my username. Okay. I'm giving the wrong username and right password. Okay. I'm giving the right password. Let's see what it will say. Okay, we couldn't find the account that matches you have entered, but we have found one closely. Okay, they are making it user friendly. But generically, Sayed, what you said is true. But usually, what we say in security testing is okay. So you don't give any specific, you give a generic error message. But anyways, this is the BA work. Okay, it totally depends upon the client requirement. Okay, so but most of the applications that I have designed or played around and tested is it will give a generic error message saying that the user credentials are incorrect. But what you're saying, right, Syed? Yeah, these days looks like they are giving more information about the username and help you find the username. Okay, but definitely if it's a banking application, right, it will not do that, because most of my experience is in banking. Let's say what happens if it's a banking application. Okay, Banking is very, very sensitive, so it should not help you, recover, play around and get you the username that you want. Okay. Okay, so let's say I've typed something and the username is correct but password is something, username is wrong but password is correct. Let's see what happens. Okay, please enter the valid customer ID and password. You see, it is not saying that the password is correct and username is incorrect. It is giving a generic error message saying that the customer ID and password, enter a valid customer ID and password. But while I'm entering Syed, I've entered the valid password but invalid username. It is not specifically telling that the username is correct, the username is incorrect but password is correct. Okay, so it will give a generic error message saying that, okay, please enter the valid customer ID and password. Okay, especially for the banks. Okay, Syed, are you okay with it?
Yes, sir. I am was just saying you have to reverse it, like where in input valid username and some different password, so that it will display mm, the valid password.
Hang on, something else is happening. Let me check what is happening. Okay, okay, something is happening. Okay, okay, perfect. Somebody video I'm enabled incorrectly. Okay, so yes. Okay. So Syed, we will discuss that later, Syed. Okay. But overall, in what it means is some sort of error message, whatever the client says, that kind of error message needs to be displayed. Okay. So that's what it is. Okay. And then, okay. So you have entered the invalid username and invalid password. Then also the appropriate error message should display. The appropriate error message should display. Okay. Syed, I know whatever the point that you're discussing, we can discuss more on that after the class, okay? Because last week, a lot of people called me and said that we have to complete the class quickly, sir, because it's already 21 classes, okay? So they are becoming little, what do you say, okay? So, impatient. So that is the reason why I'm trying to push myself to complete it, okay? But Syed, whatever the point that you're discussing, it's a good point of discussion. After the class is done at 7 o'clock, let's have a 5 minutes discussion on that, Syed. Okay, Syed?
And sir, one more thing, that weekend will not be classes would be not that, sir.
Sorry?
Sir, I have asked that you should take classes on weekend. So
I
what is the
wanted to
result?
take on I wanted to take it on the weekend, but this weekend what happened is on Saturday, I think it was Ganesh Nimmarjanam or something like that, where I was a little busy. And Sunday there was a heavy rains in my office that current is gone. So, but next weekend we will definitely take it. Okay, on the weekends as well. Okay, but we'll definitely take it over this next weekend. Okay, so you're saying about the weekend classes, right? Say it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we will take that over the weekend. This weekend, at least one class, either Saturday or Sunday, if possible, both of them. We'll try to take it, and we'll try to take it for little longer time as well, 1.5 hour. Okay. On Sunday, I'm totally free, so I can put that extra efforts. Okay. Anyways, now one more thing is actor clicks on cancel button, the login screen is closed. Okay, now you see this is the flow of events. This is the flow of events. Okay, you see in the flow of events you have the action and you have the response. So whatever the actor will do the action, what is the response should be, it is clearly mentioned in the flow of events. Okay, it is clearly mentioned in the flow of events. Again, who will create this use case document, guys? Who will create this use case document? The tester will create it, one or two. Tester will create it. One is yes, two is no. Who will create this? Whatever I'm typing here, who is created? No, the tester will not create it. Who will create it then? Business analyst will create it. Okay, so we are wearing the hat of business analyst and we are creating this document for as a business analyst. Okay, now using this use case document, okay, this which is given to us as a tester, use case document and these requirements, both of this. Okay, this FRS document will be created, given to us for the login functionality, and this use case document is also given to us. We will go through this, we'll try to understand, and once we have tried to understand this, we are supposed to write the test cases. We are supposed to write the test cases. We are supposed to write the test cases for this particular functionality. We are supposed to write the test cases for this functionality. Now we will start writing the test cases, guys. Okay, we will start writing the test cases. Okay, before writing the test cases, there is one more small topic which I wanted to cover. Okay, which was one more topic which I wanted to cover, which is very important. In almost every interview they will ask this. So that I don't forget covering it, I will cover this, I'll complete it, then I will go to the test cases. Okay, the one which is very important is RTM. Any idea what an RTM means, guys? What is an RTM? Any idea? Somebody who has learned it online, went to other institutes, or after these classes they are digging deep and reading a lot of documents, they can tell me.
Requirements statement.
Requirement
Trace matrix.
traceability matrix. Okay, this is probably 100% interview question. Okay, there was no interview where they haven't asked this. Okay, I'm muting you, Abhishek. But if you have something to speak, unmute yourself. Okay, so this is 100% interview question, guys. Okay, so what is the requirement traceability matrix? Okay, so this is more like a document. Okay, a tabular form. Okay, I cannot draw the tabular form here, so let me use my paint here. Okay, and this is more like or I'll use an Excel sheet. Okay, that is better. Okay, so requirement traceability matrix means, okay, you have the test case ID. Okay, and then the requirement ID. Okay, so every requirement has a ID assigned to it. Okay, every requirement, hang on. Okay, every requirement has a ID. Okay, so let's say this is, okay, this login functionality or functional requirements for login functionality is, let's say, 34. Okay, so this becomes 34.1, this becomes 34.2, this becomes 34.3, 34.4, 34.5, 34.6, 34.7, 34.8. Okay, because this is the requirement 34, a number is assigned to it. Okay, so let's say this 34.1 requirement. Okay, 34.1 requirement. What is this 34.1 requirement? Login screen should contain following fields. Okay, you would have written the test cases for this. You would have written the test cases for it. Every test case has a test case ID. Again, I will show you when I start writing the test cases. I'll tell you what is the test case ID. Okay, so the test case ID is, let's say, okay, 23.1. Okay, now the requirement ID 34.2, which is connect to field, is not mandatory. Okay, 34.2. Again, the test cases could be 23.1 comma 23.2, or it could be just 23.2. Okay, 23.2. Okay, so one requirement ID can have multiple test case IDs as well. Okay, so 23.3. Okay, sorry, 34.3. Okay, so the requirement ID is connect to field should allow users to access the pertinent, okay, so pertinent related database. Okay, so this is 34.3. You can have multiple test cases written for this. 23.3, okay, 23.4, 23.5. Like this, you can have multiple test cases to a particular requirement. Again, similarly, multiple requirements can have the same test case as well. 23.4. So you see 23.4 test case is applicable to this requirement, 23.4 test case is applicable to this requirement as well. So one single requirement can have multiple test cases, one single test case can be mapped to multiple requirements. That is what I want you to understand as well in terms of the requirement traceability matrix. So why we are building this requirement traceability matrix is, the client will give you all the requirements. He wanted to check if all the requirements there are some test cases or not. Only if you have test cases, which means that you are testing it. For a particular requirement, you don't have a test case, which means that you are not testing that particular requirement. So this requirement traceability matrix is so important. After you have built or written all the test cases, you are supposed to build this RTM, which is the requirement traceability matrix, and give it to the client. and give it to the client. Why you are giving it to the client? The client will check that for every single requirement that you have given, there is a pertinent or related test case or there or not, he will check. If a particular test case is not there, okay, let's say 34.5. Okay, what is the 34.5 test case? Once the valid username password is entered and pertinent DB is selected, blah blah blah, so login admin page should be selected. Something is there in this particular requirement, which is 34.5. For this 34.5, there is no test case. No test case. What does this mean, guys? Can somebody unmute and tell me? If there is no test case for the requirement, what does that mean? Okay, if there is no test case for a particular requirement, okay, what does that mean? Can somebody please unmute yourself and tell or type it in the chat window?
Either it is submit button like that.
Okay, in simple language you tell me, somebody. If for a particular requirement a test case is not there, what does it mean? Okay, test case is nothing but your idea of
It is
testing it.
no
Okay, sorry,
maybe it is no need to test that particular one.
no need to test, or you're not testing that requirement. So the client will come to know that you are not testing that requirement. The immediate question is asking is why you are not testing the requirement. Then you can say that the testing is not required for that particular requirement. Okay, so or if it is a valid reason, you will explain. If it is not a valid reason, then definitely you have to write the test case for that. Again, what is a test case? Your idea of testing that application. Okay, testing that application. Okay, so which means that, okay, only if you have a test case you are testing it. If you don't have a test case, you are not testing that particular whatever you think is there. Okay, if test case is not there for something, which means that you are not testing it. If test case is there for something, then you are testing it. It's as simple as that. So for this, the test case is not there, which means that you are not testing it, which means that this requirement is not being tested. Then the client will definitely ask why you don't have a test case for that. Okay, then immediately you have to write the test case for that, or you have to give the proper justification as to why the test case is not there. Okay, for example, one requirement I had. What is that requirement? Okay, the statement should be on A4 size page. Okay, A4 size paper. Okay, this is not something that you can test it. Okay, only when the bank goes, when it goes to the bank needs to put the A4 size into the printer box, and he has to take the printout, and that A4 size paper should be given, that final statement will be given to the end customer. This is not something which you can test as an IT guy. So let's say I had this requirement saying that the statement should be printed on a A4 size paper. Okay, should be printed on an A4 size paper. This is the real requirement that was there to me when I was doing the testing for a banking application. Okay, so I haven't written any test case for that, because that is not an IT thing. This is when the real application goes into the bank. Okay, and the bank people are actually taking out the printout. Okay, then they are supposed to take the printout on an A4 size paper, and they're supposed to give it to the end customer, which is not there in my hand, which I'm not supposed to test it. Then I said that this is not an IT requirement, and this cannot be tested or need not be tested, is what I have told them. Let's say this one is 34.6 requirement is this requirement. Okay, then I said, okay, cannot be tested. Okay, so cannot be tested. You can write the comments like this, or you can leave it like this. If the client will come back and ask you why you haven't written the test cases, then you have a proper justification for that, which you can tell. So are you okay, guys? Why this RTM is important? Are you okay, guys, all of you? Why this RTM is important? One is yes, two is no. I want everybody to answer this. If not, please let me know. I'll again try to explain it in another way. Okay, now okay, the client has given all the requirements, boss. Okay, all the requirements are given. Okay, you said you have written all the test cases. Okay, so I'll tell you that if a test case, if one test case is not there, you are not testing it. Okay, so you said that you have written all the test cases. Now the client has some doubt. Okay, he has given 1000 requirements, for example. 1000 requirements are given to you. Let's say you have come out with 2000 test cases. Okay, which is wonderful. Okay, 1000 requirements are given, 2000 test cases are required. Kumar sir, for 1000 requirements, how can I write 2000 test cases? I told you, for one requirement you can have multiple test cases. Okay, I've already told you. Okay, so that is the reason why I'm saying, okay, for example, again I'm saying, okay, for 1000 requirements you have came out with a 2000 test case. But for the client, who is our client? Chandana is the client. Chandana got a doubt that all the 1000 test cases these guys Vinupriya is testing or not. She got a doubt. Okay, she cannot go to each requirement and see what is the test case written for this. If there is any test case written or not, she wants to know. Chandana wants to know, because Chandana is the client. She is every right to see if every single requirement that she has given is being properly tested or not. She wants to know because she is giving the money. Okay, she got a little doubt. Okay, I trust Vinupriya, I trust Infosys, I trust, but I somehow I have a doubt. I wanted to see it with my own eyes. Okay, now what should Chandana request Vinupriya? What should Chandana request Vinupriya? What she should request Vinupriya? Can somebody tell me? Chandana is the client. Okay, Vinupriya is the person who is working as a tester. Okay, so total 1000 requirements client has given. Vinupriya has written 2000 test cases. Okay, but Chandana has a doubt. Every single requirement should have a test case. Only then the testing that requirement is being tested. But she has written 2000 test cases. But I wanted to see if every single requirement has been properly tested or not, or a test case is there or not. Chandana wants to know. Okay, so Chandana is the client. What should Chandana request Vinupriya, guys? Come on, guys, please answer it. Am I going too fast?
Test cases are tested or not?
Unmute your. Sorry, Chandana, you are saying something. I couldn't hear you.
It is status.
Yeah, all,
Status.
Status. Okay. Jagdish is
yeah,
saying the
all the
status.
test cases are properly tested or not, I think.
Okay, that once the test cases are created, properly tested or not, that is a different story. We are not even going there. Okay, so all we are doing is, okay, Chandana has given the requirements. Who is the client, or a business analyst will create all the requirements, but Chandana is the client. Okay, so we know that we have 1000 requirements, and Vinupriya is the QA lady. She has written 2000 test cases. Now Chandana wants to know that each and every requirement there is a test case or not. She wants to know because she has that doubt. So what should Chandana request? She would request for an RTM.
She has to RTM,
Yeah,
trackability
she
matrix. You have to check.
ask for a requirement traceability matrix, and here all the 1000 requirements will be each requirement each requirement will have a requirement ID. All the 1000 requirements will have those IDs. So what Vinupriya will do is she will put all the 1000 requirements over here. Each requirement will have an ID like 34.1, 34.2, like this. All the 1000 requirements she will put over here, and for each requirement, whatever the test case she has written, she will put it over here. And sometimes some requirements will have multiple test cases, multiple requirements will have the same test case, but this needs to be filled. And for each requirement there is a test case. Then Chandana knows that each and every requirement there is a test case, which means that the testing has been done for each and every requirement. For example, for a particular requirement, if there is no test case, then Vinupriya has to provide the proper justification as to why there is no test case. Simply the Chandana will request for an RTM. Chandana will request for an RTM to Vinupriya. This is how they will ask in the interview. Okay, so they will not ask you, oh, please explain about the requirement traceability matrix. They will say that the client wants to know if for every requirement the test cases has been written or not. Then what they should do? They should actually request for a RTM. Or what is the purpose of RTM? The purpose of RTM is for every single requirement there is a test case or not. That is what this RTM will give. This way the clients or whoever is looking at it, they will know if there is a proper coverage for each and every requirement has a test case associated with it or not. It will know this way. they will know that each and every requirement is tested or not. That is what you will get an understanding from RTM. Okay, are you clear, guys? Now how the interviewer will ask the question, I told you. Okay, are you clear now? Now you understood the purpose of RTM. Again, I'm telling you guys, without the purpose, these IT guys will not do a single work. For every single thing, there is a purpose to it. Okay, the purpose of this is the client, Chandana, will know that each and every requirement is being tested or not. How? If there is a test case, then properly the testing is happening. If there is no test case, then the test case is not happening. As simple as that. As simple as that. This is the requirement traceability matrix. Okay, everybody understood 100% now RTM? Guys, everybody understood the purpose of RTM? The purpose of RTM is this way, every single requirement, they have a test case or not, you will know it. You will know it. Perfect. Okay, sir, only the RTM requirement traceability matrix is there. There are other matrix also. Yes, there are other matrix also. Okay, which I will cover later. Okay, which I will cover later. Okay, or the assignment is what all the other matrices are there, other traceability matrix are there. Okay, I want you to come out. Okay, what is the assignment for today, guys? Assignment, what is the assignment? Okay, again, tomorrow submit the assignment before coming to the class. What other traceability matrix are present? Okay, I want you to come out with this. Again, I'm not covering others because not asked in the interviews that much. Okay, so what other traceability matrix are present? Okay, you do the research, you come back with the assignment saying that other than the requirement traceability matrix, sir, these are the other traceability matrix which are there. Okay, now test cases. What do you understand by the meaning of test cases? Please tell me, guys. Okay, what do you understand by the meaning of test cases? I don't want definitions, guys. Okay, please tell me in a generic language, what do you think is a test case? How to test? Okay, wonderful, Isil. Let's say I gave you a pen. And I ask you to test it. Okay, give me some ideas as to what to test it. Give me some idea, any idea. Your idea of testing the pen.
Is it writing or not?
Okay,
I mean,
is it writing properly? Okay,
yes.
okay, this is your idea. So you can call this as a test case. Your idea is a test case. This is test case 1. Okay, give me something.
Yeah, the
Give me
cap
some
of
more
the pen
ideas.
is fixing properly or not?
Okay,
Step by step to check if each and every requirement is working.
yeah, each and every requirement is working. Let's say there are no requirements here. Okay, I'm trying to explain what is the test case. Okay, there is a requirement. If you properly need to test it, there should be a requirement. Based on the requirement, you will write the test cases. But just to give you an idea what is the test case, let's assume there is no requirements. The ideas that you give, let's write those ideas. Okay, cap is working properly. When I said cap is working properly or not, what do I mean by that? Okay,
It's just
you open the
closing.
test case. Yeah, you open the test case, it should open. You putting the test case. Yes, the click sound should happen. Tap बोल के sound आता है ना, so the click sound should happen. That is your second idea of testing. So this is your test case 2. Okay, give me some more ideas, guys. Okay,
Color,
Sir, I have taken
Color.
black pen.
Yeah.
okay,
color and font, some you can use.
wonderful. Okay, let's say it's a blue color. Okay, so color should be blue because it's a blue pen. Okay, so this is your idea of testing the test.
Any leakage in ink.
Wonderful. Okay, so leakage. Okay, check for the leakages. Okay, leak, check for the leak. Okay, so this is your test case 4. Okay, anything else that you can think of, guys?
Is it filled by ink or not? I mean, refill or pen, something.
Okay, if it's a new pen, the ink should be complete. Okay, check
Yes, sir.
for the ink. If it's a new
Uh,
pen, the complete ink should be there.
Brand
Okay,
name mentioned or not? Brand
wonderful,
name
wonderful,
mentioned or not?
superb. Okay, brand name as per the requirement or whatever it is. Check for the brand name. Okay, check for the brand name. Check for the brand name. Superb, superb. Like this, these are all the ideas that you're coming out with. These are nothing but the test cases, guys. As simple as that. Okay, your idea of testing that particular application or the product or whatever it is, that idea is nothing but the test case. Are we clear, guys? Now, what is the test case? Are we clear? Now, what is the test case? Everybody?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So the test cases can be broadly divided into three types, guys. Okay, the test cases can be broadly divided into three types. Okay, three types. Okay, so those are I'm telling you. The first one is GUI. Okay, GUI test case. Okay, GUI test case. Second one is what is a GUI, guys? What is a GUI? Again, I'm assuming that you know it because I've explained all this. What is a GUI?
Graphical user
Graphic
interface.
Graphical user interface.
Wonderful.
Graphical user interface.
Interface. Sir, I don't know the GUI. Again, I'll write some test cases on GUI. You will understand. Okay. So the buttons, the fields, the buttons, the font, all this comes
So
under
it's a front end.
GUI. Front end. Exactly. The front end. Okay. So this is the GUI test case. There is no functionality. Once the page comes, okay, you will check if this field is available or not, the password field is available or not, the font of this is correct or not, the spelling of this is correct or not, the spelling of this is correct or not, the font is correct or not, the field is clickable or not. Like this, whatever you're doing, you're not doing any action. There is no functionality happening. You're not entering anything, clicking on anything, nothing is happening. Okay, so the page has been displayed. You are checking every single field on the page without doing any action on it. This is nothing but the GUI test cases. Are you understanding, guys? Are you understanding? The color, font, spelling mistakes, okay, the spellings, colors, fonts, all this, the button size, button is clickable or not, those kind of things are nothing but the GUI test cases where there is no action happening on that. Okay, it is only the function, it is no functionality is happening, no action is happening. This is stable. This is the GUI test cases. Okay, now we have the functional test cases. Functional test cases means, okay, you enter the username, password, click on the login button. Okay, you enter the invalid username, valid password, click on the login button. You enter something on the username, click on the clear button. These are nothing but functional test cases. Again, I will write all those test cases for you, but I'm just telling you what are the functional test cases. Okay, okay, again there are something called non-functional test cases, okay, which I will not cover as a part of the class because that is out of scope. Okay, non-functional test cases, okay, which is not, you're not expected to write it, so we can ignore it for now. Let's not worry too much about the non-functional. Okay, non-functional is more about you enter the username, password, click on the login button, how fast you're logging in, how fast the login page is opening in 2 seconds, is less than 2 seconds, 3 seconds, okay, and how securely it is logging in. Okay, people, the hackers are able to capture all the information or not, that kind of thing is non-functional. Let's not worry about that over here in this class. Okay, let's not worry about that over here in this class. Okay, so but just for the sake of telling it, I have covered. Okay, now these functional test cases, these are of two types, Amma. Okay, these functional test cases, these are of two types. Any idea what are those two types? These functional test cases, these are of two types. Okay, positive, okay, test cases. Okay, these are very, very important again. Okay, so negative test cases. Okay, the interviewer might ask you, can you tell me some positive test cases that you have written, negative test cases, or what is a positive test case, negative test case? Again, this is an interview question. Okay, so now, okay, tomorrow we will start writing the test cases, guys. Tomorrow we'll start writing the test cases for this functional for this login functionality. Okay, we will write some GUI test cases. Okay, we will write some GUI test cases, we will write some positive test cases, we will write some negative test cases. This way you will understand what is a test case clearly, and once these test cases are required covered, we will cover the test design techniques, and then we will go into the defects. Defects are wonderful, guys. We will write some defects as well, and then we'll look into the defect life cycle. With that, our manual testing will be done. So expect the classes to go on till 6 more classes, 7 more classes. Okay, for writing the test cases, we will spend some good time, because that's what you will be doing day in, day out as a QA or a manual tester. So we will write some GUI test cases, 3 to 4 for this particular login functionality. We will write some positive test cases for this one, and we will write some negative test cases. Not some, for every single possible test case we will write it for this login functionality, so that you will understand exactly a test case will be written. Okay, after that we will go into the defects, test design techniques, and cover that, and then we will go and cover the defects. With that, the whole thing is done. After that, we will see if required, Jira, we will try to cover what it is. Okay, and then we will close the classes, guys. Okay, you will be more ready for the interviews after writing these test cases and after taking the defect life cycle. Okay, so I hope the classes are useful to you, and this time around we'll try to cover at least one weekend, ideally both the weekends, if not at least one weekend, and we'll try to cover it, complete it by Monday or Tuesday. And Jira is required, we will take maybe a couple of more classes for Jira, try to understand what is a Jira. Okay, we'll try to close the class today, guys. So tomorrow also same time. Okay, and then on Saturday, Sunday, if required, we'll take 1.5 hour and 1.5 hour. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay,
Thank
and
you,
these
sir.
days I got a project, I'm working on a project, so I'm little overwhelmed, okay, with this and that, but we will try to complete this batch at any cost. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
Thank
thank
you,
you, sir.
sir.